Hello everybody. Angie here. I'm coming on to do a video for you guys. I'm working on my Margaret Miller Collage Challenge series for 2026 and I am up to week 12. So it's been a minute, it's about a week since I've done one of those, so I thought we would do one of those together today. I am working out of an old vintage receipt book and I tore out about half of the pages so I'd have some room for some thickness. And because this is a year-long series, and as you can see, it's getting a little thick. I'm trying to be conscious of the pieces that I choose to use so it won't get too gaping wide open by the time we get to the end of the year, but sometimes a piece might speak to you and you just want to use it. So let's just have some fun, okay? How's everybody? I sure hope everybody's doing well. Here are my prompts for week 12. And where's my old thing here? Okay, so for week 12, it's a graph paper, a hand tool, a piece of scrap art, something found in a treasure chest, something you see through the window, and for a bonus, a key. Okay? And that is it. I've got all my goodies off to the side who will run through those, and then let's just put some things down and see what we come up with. Now, I remember seeing the bonus for a key. And when I do collages, I love to resort to my die cuts for that because I have a bin of random die cuts and I'm trying to use those. And I thought I had a key in there, but I don't. And I didn't want to have to go all the way and pull my stuff out and die cut a key just for this week. So what I chose to do today is I have this little bin right off to my left here of some vintage keys, okay? And I don't want to use that, of course, in this collage, but I grabbed one, and I grabbed a piece of scrap paper that I had on my desk, like this, for instance, okay? And I traced around it, okay, and cut it out. So that's what I'm going to be doing for a key. So it's, like a die cut. It's just a hand cut die cut. Okay? So yeah, let's see. So for graph paper, I've got this piece of scrap here. Hand tool, again, die cuts. I've got a whole bunch of them. And I don't know which one I'll be using. There's in a couple different colors. Some dark brown and kind of a cream. But I've got a couple hand drills. I've got a wrench. And what are those? Like pliers or some type of heavy duty pliers. So we'll be doing that for a hand tool. A piece of scrap art. I've got this piece of jelly print that I use as I'm rolling off the excess of paint off of my brayer. And then there was just some other little things on there, so I thought I'd use a piece of this. Something found in a treasure chest, of course, money. So I had these little, let me grab them here, grabbed a few of these. This was just left over from a pack of St. Patrick's Day money and coins that I had. So I'll be using that. Something you see through a window. Now that I thought I'd resort to, and we'll use that for last, this tour guide magazine that I have here. I haven't chosen an image out of there. And then for a bonus is the key. And I just cut that out. All right. And if something else also that you see through a window, you might see a butterfly. Oh no, I grabbed that. And then I grabbed the other couple other pieces for background. Okay. So let's see what we can create here. Let's hold that down. Now, of course, we're going to start with the background. And I have this piece of coffee dyed paper, but I don't want to use the whole thing because we've got to use some of this as well. So let's start there. Cut this down. I'll be thinking as I go, so if I get quiet, that's all I'm doing is kind of thinking, putting together some thoughts here. Okay. All right, let's see if I cut that correct. good. And we can use a piece of this. And just put that down like so. And I don't need that whole piece, so we're just gonna do a tear. Save those ones for another day. And this kind of spoke to me for some reason. I don't know why, but I thought this is something you would see out of a window as well. Branches on a tree. So I thought we'd use that also. So let's see here. What if we do something like, maybe something like that? Might be nice. So I gotta cut this down. So I was doing really good at almost getting caught up on this collage series here. I mean, there's no time limit on it by any means, so that's why I'm really relaxed and not in any rush, but I was making an effort to try to get caught up. And I was doing pretty good because I'm on week 12 and I think everybody was about on week 14. I was only like 2 weeks behind, but then, you know, time gets away from you and you're doing other videos and other things and life and lifing and all that. So yeah, I think I'm back to 4 or 5 weeks behind now, but that's okay. I will get caught up eventually. I've told myself by the time we get to the end of the year, I'm going to be right there with the rest of everybody. Okay, so why don't we just do, oh yeah, let's do that. I'm going to grab some ink though. Hold on just a second. Okay. I kind of like that. But I feel like we need a little ink, or should I say a little more ink. So I'm going to hit these edges here. And then I'm going to dab a little on these edges. And then I also think I'm going to just, with what's left over on the brush, I'm going to try to kind of, without leaving the circle marks, it's kind of hard. I'm going to just real lightly brush across here a little bit. And as you, of course, you can still see my strokes, but I'm just going real light, just to tone down some of that white background. Just a little bit, okay? All right. Now let's put this down. It can go there. Yeah, I like that. I'm coming to the end of my glue stick here. Let's grab another one. Okay. And then this piece will go on the right side. Okay. Yeah, I like that. It's a nice blend of papers. Okay, so I've got graph paper so far. That's the only prompt that I've used so far. Next, let's go to a piece of scrap art. And I could have incorporated this in part of the background, but it's such bright, vibrant colors. I'm just going to use a piece as the prompt requires. So I'm just trying to think. You know what, before I do that, it depends, I think, on what, which I'm considering my main focal point for this collage will be, which will be the prompt, what you see through a window. Now this is a tour guide magazine that I got, and if you happen to be lucky enough to be in any one of these parts of the country on vacation, and you're in your hotel room, any of these images you'd be able to see through a window. So I thought I would just pick one of these because there's some beautiful images in here. So let me browse real quick and see, because I've got some browns and there's some greens. So one of these outdoor pictures I think would look lovely. Let's see. But I don't want anything too big. It's got to fit on my page, of course. Oh, Ireland. How about that? Gorgeous. Ooh, that is lovely, but it's just so big. We could cut it down. Let me just look what else. Oh, look at that one. Oh, let's use that. That is Florence, Italy. Ooh. Okay, let's. All right. So yeah, I thought that would make a beautiful, kind of like a focal image. We could almost probably use the whole thing, depending, because my other items I think are pretty small, kind of small, so we could probably get away with using most of this image. I think I want to keep the title of where it says Florence, Italy down in the bottom right hand corner. And I'm going to use about 3/4 of this. So this might be a view that you see outside your hotel window if you were in Florence, Italy. Look at that. Oh, simply gorgeous. I like it. So that's where this comes in, where I want to use the green, the orange. I think I'd be safe with using any portion. I kind of like some of that orange right there. So let's use a piece of that. And I just tore a piece off. And then I'm going to trim away some of this white. Got enough white in the background. Okay, I'm going to put that, hit that with a little ink. this down right behind it. But before I do that, let's take a look at our other elements. Okay, so we've got graph paper, something you see through a window, and a piece of scrap art. So we still need to add the key. Maybe we could put the key right there. Hand tool. There's always a prompt in there that's just which one doesn't belong. But that's what makes it fun. So let's see. We can put the tool with the key. How about that? Maybe something like that. We can actually put a couple of the tools. Maybe something like that. And then, let's see. Okay, I think I like that. But I don't like that dull key that I made. So let's ink that a little bit. Bring a little life to that baby. I should have just pulled my thing out because then I could have embossed this as well and gave it a little texture, but that's okay. That's all right. But what we do need to do, since I have it right here, is we need to make the little keyhole ring in there. Almost tore it. There we go. Okay, so let's do that. This with a little ink as well, just so it'll stand out off of that coffee dyed paper a little bit better. All right. So we've got a hand drill. Then we're going to put that key, and we're going to just do a little cluster of these pieces here. So there's my key. And then we're going to use one more tool. Just for something a little added there. Hand tool and wrench. Okay, we'll save the other hand tools for another day. All right, now we've got our, what I'm calling my focal image for this collage, and it's something you would see outside of a window if you were in Venice, outside of your hotel window, or you might be across the way at a restaurant or something. Oh, stay there. Oh, gorgeous. Okay, put that down right there. Just warming up. You guys got to watch your glues. As the temperature rises, your glues get softer, and when you open your liquid glues, it squirts out a little bit out of the tip. And it's all because of the temperatures. Gets a little warm. Okay, next we've got something you find in a treasure chest. Okay, that's the money. And let's just put that. I feel like we need a little something on this side, huh? We can cluster that right over here. I think that's a good idea. We'll use liquid glue for that because this is plastic, kind of tin type. We need something stronger. They're kind of bowed, or, you know, in the middle, these little plastic pieces. So I don't want to lay down flat on my paper. Hold them there for a second. Okay, hopefully they'll stay in place once that glue sets. Okay, now I think I want to bring in some ink with a marker and outline that focal image or something just a little bit. What do you think? Or do I want to just squiggly all the way around it and kind of frame it? Just kind of bring the whole page together. Yeah, I think if I go around this now, it'll be a little too much. Although I could go a second time around this way. Yeah, and then we can color in some of those here and there. How about that? I like it. I like it. Let's add just a couple more colored in spaces here. Well, I end up doing them all, don't I? I like it. Okay, that's done, guys. Easy peasy. What do you guys think? Let me bring that up a little closer. I like it. Okay, run through these prompts one more time. Make sure I've got everything. Graph paper, right there in the back. Hand tools, we got a couple of them. Piece of scrap art right here. Something found in a treasure chest. We've got coins, money. Something you see through a window, a beautiful scene. And this one happens to be Florence, Italy. And for a bonus, a key. And I just hand cut a key that I traced. Okay, add a little ink, framed it with a little black border, and that baby is done. Okay, guys, that is what I've got for you today. I hope you guys like it. As always, take care, God bless, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.